What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Zach Reacts. How are y'all doing today? So, Hazbin Hotel. Hazbin Hotel is easily one of my favorite shows to come out in recent years. This demonic Disney-esque show is just thriving right now, and I am here for it. When I first saw the pilot back in the day, I knew there was something about this that was just way too special. Like this and Helluva Boss, which I've made plenty of videos about, and you can look at those right up there. But back over to Hazbin, the theater kid in me absolutely, positively adores it, because this is definitely a show that you can tell is made by weird theater kids, and that's part of why a lot of people both like and hate it. Seriously. It's why you hate musicals? Why you hate fun? Go somewhere else with that, please. Not everybody needs to hear your opinion. Honestly, I'm just happy that the show gets to exist as itself. But on the topic of existing, the Exterminations. Why do those exist? That was a very loose-ass segue. Yeah, I'll acknowledge it. So the reason that we're given in show for why the Exterminations are a thing is that Heaven, fearing a demonic uprising, put in place the Exterminations as a form of population control, essentially, making sure that demon kind would never rise up to oppose them. Pretty cut and dry, right? Makes sense. Fascist Kingdom doesn't want to have its rule opposed, so their solution is subjugation and oppression. But does something about that feel off to anybody else? Not just me, right? Roll with me for a second. Say you are Heaven. You are known as this kingdom, this shining symbol of just all that is good, and suddenly another dimension shows up that is seemingly your opposite, and it is starting to gain numbers rivaling that of your kingdom, ran by someone who you kicked out. Yeah, this all sounds like real good motivation for the Exterminations. But I don't think that that was the first idea, though. With all of what I've just described and you being the first thing in existence and part of literally God's army, no, your first answer is going to be to blow that shit out of existence. I think the original idea was just a straight up genocide. Leave nothing in the wake and no chance for hell rising up again. That is likely what the first idea was. Considering what we have seen of Heaven and how they react to and how they talk about and treat people that are from hell, Heaven literally looks down on beings from hell. Even in the trial with Charlie, Sarah was literally looking down on her. She was literally below everybody in the room. It feels like how Americans often talk about other countries, specifically black and brown ones. The culture of hell is somehow a problem that they wish they just didn't have to acknowledge. They're fine with them existing, just exist over there. You see what I mean? So yeah, I don't think the Exterminations were actually the first choice, and I think they actually came about because of a negotiation. And with whom was this negotiation made with? Lilith. Now, I am not saying that Lilith is some secret villain or that she threw all of hell under the bus. No. It's actually a little bit more sad, I think. I think that this deal was basically made between the kingdoms of hell and heaven to basically save as many people as possible. Seeing that Heaven definitely wanted blood, she used any rapport that she had with Adam and with anyone in heaven itself in order to negotiate this deal where it would essentially facilitate their coexistence. It was a utilitarian solution of sorts, but she basically spared every other ring besides the Pride Ring, where most of the sinners live. Plus, with the revelation that no one in heaven actually knows what it actually takes to get into heaven, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a bit of a good place situation where no one's gotten into heaven for a really, really long time. So basically they made the wretched suffer just to kill them again. Not her fault, just an unexpected turn that humanity took that no one saw coming. And because of all that, Lilith kind of felt a lot of immense guilt because it feels like she essentially damned humanity, and she likely felt like she wouldn't be able to show her face in hell ever again because many would think that she betrayed them. I don't know if it's public knowledge of how the Exterminations came into place, I don't know, but even then, the main people that would have known, unless they survived and just passed that shit down because of oral tradition or some shit like that, I mean, most of the people that would have originally known are dead, and Lucifer and the 7 deadly sins, that's about it. So Well, naturally, Lilith would try to leave hell. And did she tell Lucifer and Charlie? Probably. I don't know. Charlie did try to call her in the pilot, then again, she didn't pick up, so that just leaves one question left. Where is Lilith then? In heaven. Is likely what a lot of people think. And no. Think about this for a second. Why would anyone in heaven be okay with the wife of Lucifer Morningstar, the first fallen angel, being in heaven? Especially Adam, who was the man literally made by God himself to be her partner, and she rejected him. Like, even if she was just like held off over in another area of heaven or whatever, like, there's no way that anybody would be okay with that. Somebody was going to try eventually to off her. So where is she then if she's not in heaven and she's not in hell? Simple, she's in the Garden of Eden. With nowhere else to go and no other place to turn to, she would end up back at the place of her creation, turning the land that was once her eternal paradise now into her eternal prison. So yeah, like I said, a lot sadder than you would think. But yeah, that's just my opinion on that. What do you think? Wait, what? What do you mean? I mean, I'm already done. What do you mean why does this need to be longer? Feed the algorithm. What is it then? When did you write this into my script? What the fuck? This is like an extra 2 pages. Wait. Oh, wait, no. Okay, nah. Alright, yeah, I'll do this. Okay, fine. So, recently, as of recording this, Spindlehorse dropped their Helluverse Pride merch, and it is amazing, and I love all of it, and I'm broke as shit right now, so I definitely cannot afford to get any of it, but I'm happy for all my friends that can get it. Y'all are great and nice. I'm happy for you. Though, there has been some uproars about certain things. They basically canonized many characters' sexualities through this merch. But yeah, apparently some people have a problem with certain things. And no, I'm not talking about Millie and Vortex being straight, though I feel like people do need to get over that, especially with Millie. Y'all, a straight woman who is actually willing to date a bisexual man is important. Considering how many videos I have seen of women saying that they wouldn't date a man who is bi for very homophobic and hypocritical reasons, a character that not only dates one but has basically a damn near all queer friend group, at least 2 canonically queer siblings, one of whom is trans. Millie's existence kind of really bucks that notion. But yeah, that's not the one I wanted to address, even though I guess I kind of just did give my 2 cents about it. The one I want to talk about is actually Mayberry, because a lot of people were surprised to see her holding a lesbian flag, citing the fact that she was married in the first episode with a husband, and the classic argument of, but they had a partner of the opposite sex, how can they possibly be gay? What gives? Yet this reaction tells me that there's a lot of people who still have not learned anything over the past decade about the queer experience, despite that being what most of queer media does anyway, explaining the queer experience. Jesus Christ. But I'll put this real simple. It's comphet. Compulsory heterosexuality, often shortened to comphet, is the theory that heterosexuality is assumed and enforced upon people by a patriarchal, allonormative, and heteronormative society that runs off the belief that society is overwhelmingly heterosexual and delegitimizes queer identities. As a result, it perpetuates homophobia and the legal inequity of the LGBTQ community. So, with that in mind, and the fact that the last time we saw Mayberry was her stepping out of Martha's shower in her cabin, I think it's safe to say that that's the case. Here's my theory. Mayberry knew she was gay when she was younger, like Stolas, but she felt pressured to stay in the closet either by her parents and peers or just the society and the world around her. Either way, she was deep in there like an old coat your grandma gave you. She tried her best to basically be the ideal of femininity, according to patriarchy at least. So when she catches her husband cheating on her, she is rightfully pissed. All the time she wasted in a comphet relationship, playing the perfect wife, sacrificing what she really wanted, her own happiness, likely even working up the urge to have kids to seal the deal. only for this to happen anyway. Like, if I can be real for a second, I feel like a lot of people, especially younger people, don't completely understand what it was like being a queer person in the 20th century, going up to the 2000s, hell, up to 10 years ago. Like, this year marks a decade since the Marriage Equality Act was passed and gay marriage was legalized, a thing that conservatives have been trying to turn back ever since. They really got mad about that one, I swear to God. Now people are able to be a lot more open about who they are and who they love, and there is still unwarranted scrutiny, but they don't have to hide if they don't want to, which is the ultimate goal of all liberation movements. Well, honestly, the ultimate goal of all liberation movements is to just be able to openly live, so there's that. But stepping off of my soapbox for a second, Mayberry represents those who did what they could to survive in the world that didn't want you unless you were a certain way. But now, well, she's dead and she's in hell, so what the fuck she got to lose now? Why not hook up with the chick that broke up the marriage she was barely in? Why not explore feelings that you couldn't when you were alive? Shoot. That's the thing about Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. Like, these are shows that are really not interested in trying to conform to the mainstream, and they're showing lives that don't conform to the mainstream as well. They make their own place within it. Like, no offense to other shows, but like, the thing that I love about Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel and even Q-Force especially is that they're not trying to explain the queer experience to you. These are shows that are literally like, we're here, we're queer, deal with it, and they mean it. They're literally telling you, deal with it. Mayberry living and identifying as a lesbian feels just like a natural progression to a character who kind of was fed up with her own life on Earth and now feels actually free, ironically, even though she's in hell. And as much as people want to be upset about that, I can't really get mad about it. I can't. But anyway, comment down below and tell me your thoughts about either theory. Do you think Lilith had something to do with the Exterminations? What do you think of Mayberry being a lesbian? Actually, no. Fuck no. Fuck, don't answer that shit. You know what, how about this? What do you think Mayberry and Martha do just by themselves? What would a good short of that be? Write that down below. That's better. Anyway, like, subscribe. I will see you all later. Goodbye.